Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new week of Houston Sports Weekly, our weekly podcast on KPRC 2 Plus, and click2houston.com. We dive in just about everything. We've gone over 30 episodes already since we first launched this podcast. We have a lot of fun doing it and talk about what is making news in H-Town sports. Great to have you with us again if you're listening or if you're actually have it potted up and watching us right now as well. We appreciate that. Randy McAvoy, Ari Alexander with you. And, man, we got a lot to talk about because March Madness is here. The state of Texas well represented. We've got Houston. We've got Texas, Texas A&M, Baylor. That team up in Lubbock, right?
In Fort Worth. TCU. Can never forget about the Horned Frogs again. We have
That's right. Texas Tech didn't make it.
They did not.
Waiting we'd get an email from a Texas Tech
right?
fan.
We have seven Texas schools made it. Shout out to Texas Southern, who is out now, and Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
That's right.
Who is... I think they already played Alabama and they're out.
Yeah, they got knocked out already, but they made it, though. Won the Southland Conference.
The Islanders.
That's right. Shout out to Texas Tech. Sorry,
TCU.
Didn't go so well there in Lubbock.
Horned Frogs are in the tournament.
Good. They're sneaky good. They play Friday, right?
I have them losing to Arizona State.
In round one.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
They have some inner turmoil going on. They had a kid who's actually from here in the Houston area who just recently left the program. He was a big part of their near upset of Arizona last year in the tournament. Eddie Lampkin from Morton Ranch.
Oh, yeah.
Something happened there, and he's likely leaving the team. He hasn't played with them for the last few weeks, and there was kind of something came out on Instagram. And so I'm not a big fan of picking teams that have just some sort of like something going on, right? Even if we don't know all the details, like Alabama is a good example of this. That I think they're going to go far. I think they go to the finals, but I'm not picking them to win because they just have so much surrounding them that it's just kind of hard to want to pick that team to be able to deal with all the outside noise.
Yeah, and they're an excellent team, but they're playing. See, Alabama's playing first round. Are they in Birmingham?
They are. They're playing Maryland in the second round.
Okay, so they're going to get Maryland, who won they beat West Virginia, I believe.
And then it's either San Diego State or Furman. So they have kind of a free and clear to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, Bama is good. Auburn got to play in Birmingham as well, and they won their first game. As we're taping this, obviously it's Thursday. You know the results, kind of how things played out on Thursday, going into Friday, and of course the weekend as well. But Houston taking on Northern Kentucky. You got Auburn already moving on. Auburn's going to have a home base, whoever they do play there. In Birmingham.
We talked about this. I told you, do not trust Iowa, and Auburn.
You were right on that.
Knocked out Iowa because I watch Iowa.
I thought Big Ten battle tested. They'd be ready, but
Iowa's interesting. So they're fun because Houston and Iowa have the same amount of quad one wins, and this is where I think that the whole like quad wins thing is stupid because we watch a ton of the Houston Cougars.
Yeah.
I watch a ton of Iowa, and there's just these teams aren't close. And so you're looking at, yes, Houston plays in a worse conference, but Houston has 5 quad one wins. They're 7-2 against the teams in this tournament, which is pretty strong. And then Iowa has 5 quad one wins. And so you'd think, oh, this is a sneaky good team. They have all these good wins. But then they lost to Nebraska. They lost to Ohio State, and they play terrible against these teams they should be beating. And they were almost a 7 seed. If they wouldn't have choked out that first round of the Big Ten tournament, they would have been like a 7 seed, and they're not good. They're not good. They don't play defense, and you saw that against Auburn.
Yeah, I tell you, tournament time's just fun. I mean, today we saw in the opening round, we saw Furman beat Virginia, right? Princeton, just shocking Arizona. I don't know where you had Arizona. I had Arizona going pretty deep.
I had them losing to
one of my
Baylor.
brackets, I may have had them going to the Final Four. I don't remember, but
you have an issue with you having multiple brackets. But you should have one bracket.
I don't play like 5 brackets.
Okay.
I like I'm in 3 of them.
But I feel like you make your picks and you stick with because
you get pressure from the groups you've always done, and you don't want to tell people no and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Then just have one bracket. You put in all of the things. Because if you have a good upset, you get them all across the board. But then you didn't pick, let's say you picked the Princeton upset in one of your bracket pools, and that's like a huge win because no one else had that.
Right.
But then you had just the chalk Arizona and 6 the other bracket pools. Where's the fun in that? You got to pick. You have one bracket.
Probably so. I don't know, but I'm wavering on a handful of games. It's like, okay, in this bracket, I'm going to go with this team. But I get your point. But it's been a fun opening day of the tournament. It'll be a blast Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as they all take a step to the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. Hopefully Houston, and as we tape this, It's kind of a tight game with Northern Kentucky. I do expect them to pull away, but Houston has a shot now that they play Auburn in round number 2 now, Saturday, if that holds up. And again, it goes back to that they're going to have a nice crowd supporting Auburn right there in their backyard, basically.
Which would be good for them, but for Houston, the story has always been, can you make a Final Four in the city of Houston? And this came up, I remember when 2017, when Phoenix had the Final Four, Arizona was really good. They were, I believe, a 2 seed that year. And that was the same storyline. Can Arizona play in the Final Four an hour and 45 minutes from their home base at Tucson? And they lost to Xavier in the Sweet 16, and it just kind of goes nowhere. And so that's where, like, Houston has so many games to win before they make the Final Four. You got to win 4 games.
Right.
Northern Kentucky is weirdly giving them a test. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't watch a whole lot of Horizon League basketball, but you would imagine.
You didn't watch the tournament?
Right? Didn't watch it, no, not the Horizon League tournament. But you would imagine Houston would be able to get through them. Auburn's all right, but they lost, Jabari Smith is here. Jabari Smith plays for the Rockets. They don't have that level of guy. And then you look at the rest of their, Miami, Drake, Indiana, Kent State, like that top corner, for them to be able to get to the Elite Eight just seems super doable. And then, I think Texas A&M is good.
Texas. I think they'd run into Texas.
I think they'd run into Texas too.
I would love to see Houston face Indiana because of all the bad blood when Sampson left the program.
Which is funny that
his first time to face them.
The thing that he did wrong is no longer like an issue. It's not a rule anymore.
Now.
Yeah, you can text whoever you want. Or like it was. I remember like Bruce Pearlman got in trouble with a Aaron Kraft barbecue or something, and it's like something you can do now. Yeah,
I mean that's I'd have to look up all the particulars of that exit from Indiana, but he obviously got in trouble and. There was bad blood on that deal for Kelvin Sampson. I think down deep it still drives him. He would never admit it, I don't think, but he wants to show. And he also says, being in the Hall of Fame is not a big deal. He doesn't feel like he's earned it yet. I think he's well on his way to being a Hall of Fame coach. I don't know how you feel. He hasn't won a national title, but he's been there before.
I don't think college basketball, and that's the one kind of nice thing about college basketball, I don't think it's determined in terms of national titles unless you're one of these 5 or 6 schools. How many Final Fours can you make? And he's done it. He made a Final Four with Houston. He made a Final Four with Oklahoma. He's made a Final Four with 2 different programs. He took Houston from being awful
700-some wins
to they're one of the better programs in the country now. Oklahoma was great when he was there. Indiana was online to do the normal things that Indiana's supposed to do based on their resources and talent until he was fired. And so he's got a ton of wins. He's made Final Fours. He is a Hall of Famer. Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah, he would love this as his first chance, really legitimate chance being a number 1 seed. This is the first time U of H has been a number 1 seed since 84, I think, 83, 84.
Phi Slamma Jamma era team, yeah.
And they're there. They're on the cusp of having a chance to do it in their hometown. Man, what a scene that would be. But as you mentioned, there's a lot to accomplish between now and then. It seems like, they just win 4 games and they're there. It's a lot tougher than that.
Yeah, look at what happened to Arizona. Princeton doesn't have athletic scholarships. They give academic scholarships, and Arizona is one of the more power programs in the country. Their team is a little weird because after all the FBI stuff went down with Sean Miller, they had the one down year in recruiting where he had to pull a bunch of foreign guys. And so their whole team, they have the most international team of all time. Their whole team is made up of a Lithuanian guy, an Estonian guy, a couple players from different parts of Africa. I think Mali, they have a guy who's from Mali who played for an ex-Arizona player who now coaches the Malian youth team. And so they have all these random guys that they would never have if there wasn't this big FBI issue. But those are good players. Like Kirk Kriisa, these guys are they had the Pac-12 Player of the Year runner-up, and you lost to Princeton. So you kind of never know. These,
First win since 98, I think, for Princeton.
Yeah.
Tournament.
Which is Chris Young, who is now the Rangers GM, played basketball at Princeton. He's a 6'10" starting pitcher who has also played basketball for them. And I think he was on that team when they won.
What do you think? Just say Houston can take care of business. If they get head-to-head with Texas, I haven't broken down the lineup of the Longhorns. I do know they're very athletic. They're big. And what a job is it, Coach Rodney Terry?
Rodney Terry.
During that whole situation, when he took over the program, they've just continued a couple of slip-ups, but, man, they've maintained it very high level.
They're good. I mean, they're a scary team, and they have guys that they've got a kid named Dylan Mitchell, who is a 5-star recruit who's supposed to be like a top 10 pick, and then he's kind of fallen off on the NBA draft boards. But there's a reason that he was ranked that high in the first place. Talent levels there. They have some older players that they mesh with some of these younger talented guys, and they can play. They can win. They've already moved on. They took out Colgate, which was actually kind of a close game for a decent amount of it. I think Houston can win that game, but if anyone's going to give them trouble, it's one of the very few teams in the country that's just like more athletic than them, and Texas, I think, registers there.
I found it surprising too when the brackets came out. Were you surprised? I mean, but I'll just go to the guys on CBS and ESPN. Literally nobody that I saw picked U of H to go to the Final Four. Yeah,
and I think that has to do with the Sasser injury. Because I think it happens so close to when everyone's picking their games. It happened on Saturday, right? And so then he didn't play Sunday. And then everyone's kind of filling out their bracket Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. And so the first thing you're thinking of is, oh, their best player has a groin injury. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. President Joe Biden picked Arizona to win the whole thing. To win the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
He's already out, and
did not go well for the president.
No. So it's. I mean, people are just sort of picking, right? There's not enough time in the day, if you're a sports fan who doesn't only follow college basketball, to watch enough of these teams to know how. Like I'm looking like San Diego State and Furman, right? Like, come on. Anyone who pretends to know how San Diego State and Furman match up is lying to you, unless they're on the staffs of those
I saw
teams.
A couple posts on Facebook tonight, too. I'll go with their word. They were saying, hey, my bracket's still intact. It's like, you picked Furman and Princeton?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
So, all right, let's see your bank account, because then you're the Furman-Princeton parlay, the money line parlay on those two games. You should throw $10, you probably won 1,000.
Oh, man. So, I'm sure a lot of people's brackets were blown up. But, hey, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, here's the deal. If you don't know, everything's opening with U of H there in Birmingham first weekend. If they win, things will shift with all these regionals. Midwest region will be in Kansas City. So Texas and Texas A&M, they're hanging out right now in Des Moines, Iowa. And if they meet in advance, whatever, they'll play on Saturday as well. But they would advance out of Des Moines to Kansas City as well. So a lot of moving parts. And then you got to win 2 more in KC before you bring it back to Houston. So it's going to be a fun bracket to watch, man. After the opening day with a couple of surprises, it's what March Madness is all about.
I think it's kind of clearing out for Alabama to make it through their bracket to the Final Four so far. I'm looking at I like the Arkansas over Kansas upset. I've had that the whole time.
Yeah. I saw Bill Self did not coach today. I don't know if he's coming back or what he's playing.
The medical issues.
He had stents put in the hospital last weekend.
Scary.
Yeah, jumping from the hospital to a pressure-packed tournament.
And how many coaches have had heart issues or had to quit? Like, look at Urban Meyer, Jerry Kill. Right. Like, there are so many guys. It's a high. I would love to see. The cool thing that Whoop does now, I don't know if you know about the whole Whoop thing, so I have it. It's a band that tracks how you sleep, your strength.
It tracks everything.
Yeah, so golf, it's really cool. So they work with golf now, and Patrick Mahomes, I think, has some sort of chunk of the company, and he wears it in the game. And so during the Super Bowl, they tracked him, and he put up a strain of 20.6 out of 21. So he basically used like 96% of his body's energy playing in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I'd love to stick that on a college coach, especially like
that would be cool.
One of the insane ones, like Tom Izzo or like Sean Miller, that are just screaming and like just because he's not really doing the physical activity that the players are playing,
right?
But like, what's going on with your heart rate when you are screaming at a ref?
I said it's an endorsement deal. They need to get these coaches signed up and then
the angriest, so like Fran McCaffrey on Iowa,
absolutely. All right, so good talk on March Madness. That's a hot topic. Again, a lot of moving parts. Games are being played. Teams are getting kicked out. We'll see how it all plays out as they move on to round number 2 on Saturday for many teams and Sunday for the other teams that are playing Friday and Sunday as well. We'll see who moves on to the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. We're going to take a short break here on Houston Sports Weekly. When we come back, we'll talk a few minutes about the other big news. We'll talk some Astros, I'm sure, because as of this taping right now on Thursday, we're 2 weeks out from opening day, and they will be here before we know it as the Astros are set to open the season at home at Minute Maid Park, I believe against the Chicago White Sox, right? Yeah, White Sox are here at Minute Maid Park, and maybe we'll dabble a little bit in the World Baseball Classic talk in segment 2, Houston Sports Weekly. We're coming right back. Hey, welcome back to Houston Sports Weekly. Randy McIlvoy, Ari Alexander with you as we continue our discussion on this 30-something edition episode of this Houston Sports Weekly. We lost track, but we enjoy doing it each and every week. If you missed segment one, you heard us talk about March Madness and all the teams advancing and how brackets are shaking out, and that will certainly be something to follow coming up over the weekend as well, over the next 2 to 3 days as we march on to the Final Four here in H-Town, NRG Stadium here in just a couple of weeks. So, Ari, you're a big baseball fan. I'm a big baseball fan. Hey, man, we're now 2 weeks out. If you're listening to this after Thursday, less than 2 weeks, it's going to be here, man. We're all in the middle of the World Baseball Classic. A lot of guys are away from their teams, but they play on, trying to get ready for the opener.
Yeah, it's going to 2 more weeks and a lot of stuff going on that week. First of all, like Houston that week, that whole week, right?
It's crazy.
McDonald's All-American game.
Yep.
Which we'll see if we intend that. Goes into
we're still working on that.
Yeah, still working on it. Goes
trying to figure out
goes into opening day, and then I think so. Friday is probably like teams arrive or whatever.
Yep.
And they do World Series rings. Saturday is a game day. Oh, yeah. So Friday's a workout day, right? So workout day Friday for the Final Four teams. Saturday is a game day. It's also the day that you get Jeremy Pena bobblehead. So I'm reserving mine now. I want my Jeremy Pena World Series MVP bobblehead.
And what day is that?
Saturday.
Sunday,
okay. I think they're giving out.
You guys are tight. Maybe
I can just ask one. Jeremy. Yeah, I'll but I need one of those.
He's your guy. Man.
I wanted the Siri one. They got to have some left over at.
Really?
There's a Sugarland Jose Siri one
for Space Cowboys.
I'm also tight with Jose Siri. Great guy.
Space Cowboys.
Yeah, it's a Space Cowboys one. Okay. Now Tampa Bay Ray, Jose Siri. Yep. But I want that bobblehead. We need the Pena one. And then Sunday is, I think, Jeremy Pena World Series replica ring day, which is another workout day for the national finalists. And then Monday is the national finals. Around all of that, the Final Four attracts USA Basketball will be here, on top of, obviously, all the people with McDonald's All-American. And every single basketball agency you can think of. Clutch will be here, CAA will be here, et cetera, because those guys are recruiting those McDonald's All-American players and for NIL.
Okay.
And so Houston is going to be the center of the basketball universe, and we got to figure out who we're going to see courtside at these games. Because, Houston's a desirable place to go. This is not Salt Lake City where people are complaining, why is the All-Star game there? Houston's a place people want to be. I have a good feeling about the type of celebrity that we're going to draw for the Final Four. Megan Thee Stallion is already performing.
Okay, that'd be good.
Drake just dropped a tour. He's coming here June 21st for a concert. I'm already having people ask me for tickets. I don't know. I don't have tickets. I want the tickets. I have a feeling Drake could be courtside.
Probably so. It's going to be a who's list, man.
I think so.
Is Paul Wall? You think he'll
yeah, but he's here already, right?
Yeah.
So he'll be around, I would imagine.
They'll find a way to get tickets.
Bun B's Trillburgers works with the Harris County Houston Sports Authority quite a bit with their events. I assume he'll have a big part of it. I feel bad for the Astros because they're busy.
Right.
And you would think, an Alex Bregman, a Jeremy Pena, those guys that like basketball would want to go to the games. They can't. They're playing at the same time. That sucks. I feel bad for them that it's all here and they're 10 minutes away and they can't go.
They'd be there in a heartbeat. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy week all week long. We'll have it covered on KPRC 2+, click to Houston.com, all that good stuff. Hey, we got a little bit of an interview that we'll run on this segment, Ari, from Jeremy Pena. You brought him up. I said, you know what? We got some sound we can run from spring training that people haven't heard yet. We'll run a little bit of that, but just general thoughts on what you've been hearing out of camp. It seems like, for the most part, outside of McCullers, I have not seen a McCullers update unless you've seen one.
Saw one recently. It was that everything feels fine and he'll start throwing soon.
Because I was there 3 weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah,
and they thought in 2 weeks from then he would start throwing. Obviously, it's been a little longer. So, it's alarming.
It won't be opening day.
No.
And neither will Michael Brantley, but Yordan seems to be okay. I've talked to some people close to Yordan Alvarez, and everything I'm hearing is they're not worried about the hands, and it'll be fine, and he'll play, and it won't be an issue.
Well, I am concerned about Lance McCullers Jr. Because he's basically going to have to start from scratch
to ramp up.
To ramp up, it's going to be like because he never really started. A little bit in the off season, but once he got to camp, he threw a bullpen, and then he was shut down. How long that will take? Are we now looking at? Is middle of June now more realistic?
I wouldn't even be that pessimistic. I think he can go setback. I think he goes in May.
Okay,
I think he misses a month.
because they started in late March.
Yeah, I think he ramps up all April.
That would give him 4 weeks in May. Is that enough?
Yeah, I think he ramps up.
Spring camp's 4 to 6 weeks long.
So he ramps up a little bit. He maybe makes a couple starts in AAA and then gets ready to go. And maybe the second week of May, comes back. But they have 5 starters. The issue is what happens if any of those 5 guys go down.
Right.
Because we just saw
they just didn't force Whitley down, so he's not going to be affected.
No, and so that means that JP France I've read is coming back from an injury. He's even a guy that's not necessarily a starter anymore.
Yeah.
He'll probably start games in AAA, but they kind of like him out of the bullpen. Sean Dubin has really, really struggled in spring training so far as a guy that probably projects long term to better as a bullpen piece, which is why we see Ronel Blanco being moved to starter. Something Dana Brown had an idea, which is why I like Dana Brown
early in camp,
because he's fresh eyes, right? So you have your set scouts and everything, and they've kind of determined this guy's a starter, this guy's a reliever. Worst case scenario, this guy's a starter, not working out, we'll move into a reliever, whatever. Moves on. But then Dana Brown comes in and he looks at Ronel Blanco and goes, why can't that guy be a starter? Well, I don't know. He's been a reliever for 5 years. Well, he's a reliever. He's our closer in AAA. Yeah, but why can't he be a starter? All right, let's try and make him a starter.
Give it a shot. Why not?
It's kind of working so far. He just threw 3 1/3 innings today, scoreless. Looks good. Mainly 2 pitches, but has a curveball and a changeup. This is going to sound insane. I'm going to back this up, and I actually checked with a few people on this, and they told me it's not insane, but it's like getting there. He reminds me, the stuff is like a slightly lesser version of Spencer Strider on the Braves.
Okay.
Fastball, slider. Strider throws 2 pitches. Blanco throws 2 pitches. Strider throws harder. But in terms of the pitch shape, what they do, the vertical break, the release point, all of those things, it's like a poor man's Spencer Strider. And Spencer Strider nearly won the Rookie of the Year last year. He is going to be one of the best pitchers in the NL. And you have Ronel Blanco, whose pitch shapes look like this guy, who's like maybe your 7th starter.
So he's a name fans can look forward to.
I think
so.
See
if he could break in and be another arm that they can rely on this coming season. Hey, real quick, a couple of minutes. Let's listen in to Jeremy Pena from spring training.
So I worked a little bit more on my body. And, last year, towards the end of the year, I felt like I was getting a little tired. So this year we worked on a couple things to, more routine-based, kind of knowing what I have to do in season to stay on top of my game.
Walk us through the mindset going in when you know you got that bullseye on your back and you guys are the favorites again.
I mean, the mindset is to keep getting better, keep winning ball games, and make it to the playoffs and have a deep round again. So that's always been the mentality. We have a winning culture here, and everyone's on the same page. You just turn the page. Last year is last year. We have a new year coming up. We already enjoyed it. We celebrated, but now it's time to, lock back in. And now we have a new goal, which is to go back and hopefully win it again.
What was the success like for your family, especially your dad who played the big leagues, and the rest of your family as well?
I mean, it's actually special that I get to share with my father, both being big leaguers now. He always had his stories when he played in the big leagues. Now I have some stories I could share with him, and it's special.
What are your expectations for yourself in your second season?
Just keep improving, be consistent, on both sides of the game, defense and offense, and the goal is to stay healthy, play the full year, and help the team.
Adjust your off-season training at all differently than now that you have a year under your belt? And you know what to expect, I guess, in the big league?
A little bit. I would say I was a little more focused, and I knew things I had to work on. I wasn't just working to work. It was actually working on the right things. And, that's going to be the goal this whole year. Putting intent behind every single practice, behind every single swing, behind every single rep. He's, my first manager in the big leagues, and he was great to me since the first day. He gave me all the confidence in the world. Even when I was struggling last year, he was still, playing me. He was still giving me advice. He was still encouraging me to keep playing my game, keep playing hard and have fun. So, shout out to him.
All right, that's Astros shortstop Jeremy Pena. He's ready for another breakout season as well to top off what he did last year. He's in the middle of the World Baseball Classic. Anything that will surprise you from him this year based on I guess, how he's able to finish this past season in the postseason.
So with Jeremy, there's two things I'm looking for. One, can he translate that little leg kick thing that he changed at the end of the year to hit sliders better? Which is what he did great in, not only hitting sliders better, but he would lay off pitches that he'd normally chase in the playoffs. And the other thing is, he's one of the fastest players in the league, but he doesn't run a lot. Kyle Tucker is not one of the fastest players in the league, but he does run a lot. I think that both
30-30 guy should be.
Tucker's should be a 30-30 guy. I think Pena could be a 25-25 guy.
Yep.
He has the speed. It's just the recognition of when do I run, when do I get my jump. He's got just pure from a speed standpoint. Jose Altuve once stole 50-some bases back in the day. Pena's faster than Altuve. There's no reason he can't steal 20-plus bags.
All right. Hopefully a breakout year for Pena. Get him back healthy for the World Baseball Classic as well. We are out of time. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us on Houston Sports Weekly. We will do it again next week. It's a little bit closer to the Final Four. And, of course, another week closer to the start of a baseball season as well. Thanks for watching and listening. As always, for Ari Alexander, I'm Randy McIlvoy. So long for now. We'll see you next time on Houston Sports Weekly.